3, 2, 1, boom. And we're live. Good evening. How we doing, boys and girls? Might have to have a little change about here with the lighting here and there, but there we go. Yeah, we're in business. We'll just let a few people join, as usual, and then there will be a little bit of a show, and then we'll go to the questions. I'm quite enjoying these live streams. I just want to get a little bit of a better camera, a little bit of a better setup for it, which I will have before the season starts. But these definitely seem to be the way forward. 40, 50 people watching. Thanks for tuning in. Hello. I can see a few of you saying stuff. As always, don't have the bins on, so I can't really see it. I'm going to go through today's game. I'm going to go through the team that started the match. What I think that means going forward towards next week. And then, yeah, we'll go to the questions. Obviously, Neil Harris has come out and made some interesting comments after the game to do with transfers, so we'll talk about that as well. Lions TV, good evening. Following Millwall's 3-3 draw today against Real Sociedad at the Den. That was quite exotic, that, wasn't it? Yeah, 3 goals each. The game was delayed by 15 minutes due to Sociedad turning up late for the fixture. They played Nottingham Forest last night at the City Ground and drew 2-2. Now, I just assumed that they would have 2 squads with them. They send a squad to the City Ground and then they send a squad down to the Den. But I don't think that's happened because Adnan Januzaj, who was obviously ex-Manchester United, very good player, very good young player, as we've seen today for ourselves firsthand. He was on the bench last night at Nottingham Forest, but he started today's game. So I think they literally did play last night at Nottingham, and then they've travelled down this morning on the train, and they got a coach from wherever they went into, probably King's Cross, Victoria, to the Den, which was a bit of a random one. But yeah, we've drawn the game by 3 goals apiece. The starting lineup was Frank Fielding in goal, Murray Wallace at left back, Marlon Romeo at right back, Alex Pearce captaining the side with Jake Cooper alongside of him. It was Connor Mahoney left midfield. It was Jed Wallace right midfield with Sean Williams, and he is one of our own, Ben Thompson, playing as his central midfield partner. And then up front, it was Matt Smith and Aidan O'Brien. Now, I don't know this for a fact, but I would look at today's starting 11, and to me, I'm thinking, if I'm the gaffer, my starting 11 today is going to be the starting 11 that I'm going to start with next Saturday against Preston. Bradshaw's had a little bit of a tight hamstring throughout the pre-season, so I don't know whether he's been rested, but Aidan O'Brien's played the majority of it. Yuri Skalak's also played the majority of it, but there's also today been left out, which I think was harsh on him, which I'll get on to. But yeah, for me, I think that that's probably the team the gaffer's going to go with. Judging on today's performance, I wouldn't go with either of the 2 centre-forwards. I would go with Bodvarsson and Bradshaw. Bradshaw has to start for me. He looked lively when he came on. And I wouldn't start Jeb Wallace. Now, that might be controversial, but I think Jeb Wallace is, as I said, last 10 games of last season was shot to bits, and today he's a winger that doesn't get any crosses into the box. His final product isn't good, whether he's shooting a goal, which he showed in the second half, had a chance to take a shot on, and he doesn't cross any balls into the box. Now, I feel for Tom Bradshaw because Tom Bradshaw started at Southend and he must be itching for a goal, Tom Bradshaw. Must be absolutely itching for a goal. And he's got no chance of getting one because he doesn't get any service. He's now living Lee Gregory's life. He knows, he can start to sympathise with the struggles that Lee Gregory have. You don't get a lot of chances as a Millwall forward. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here. Let's start out with a game. We started well. We looked strong. Played in our away kit, which is a little bit weird because they played in all green. But whatever, let's roll with it. And we look sharp. We was knocking the ball around. Sean Williams is definitely, as I said before, our 4 midfielders, our 4 central midfielders are Jason Malumboy. That's probably not the right pronunciation, but you know what I mean, the new guy we got in from Brighton on loan. He isn't fit yet. Billy Mitchell's a very talented young player, but he's not ready to be a starter in the Championship just yet. It's too much too soon. So that leaves Thompson, who's obviously our main man, as he's showed again today, and Sean Williams and Ryan Leonard. For me, it's got to be Williams. It has to be Williams. Williams started well. He does retain the ball very well. He's knocked a beautiful ball over the top for Matt Smith. Matt Smith, who I thought started the game lively, which I'll get onto again later, takes the ball on his chest towards goal. He gets hauled back. Any other day of the week during a league or cup situation, that is a Stonewall. It's not only a penalty; it's a Stonewall red card. But we didn't get it. We didn't get the red card, which some of our players were asking and appealing for. And rightly so. You've got to take these games as if they are, this is all systems go now. Play as you will be playing next week. You'll be asking for the guy to get sent off next week, so ask for it this week. He should have been sent off. He wasn't. Sean Williams steps up, takes the penalty, and as he did against Bristol City on the last home game of last season, it's a weak penalty past. The keeper's read it right, and he's gone the right way and saved it. Straight away in my head, I'm thinking alarm bells. We need a penalty taker because now Williams has missed the last two, and the penalty taker before Williams was Lee Gregory, who's no longer at the club. So, yeah, we get the penalty. Williams misses it. About 15 minutes later, we get another penalty across from Mahoney, corner, floats it in. The big boys are up for it. One of them gets bundled over. I think it was Smith. I'm not sure it's Smith or Cooper. I think it was Smith. And to that point, I did think Smith looked decent. I don't think Smith's a natural finisher. I've seen him have a few chances in front of goal now, which he's missed, but he is a better version of Tom Elliott, where he gets in the way and he's awkward and he's not clumsy. He's better than clumsy, but he'll win the knockdowns and he'll get the ball and he'll knock it wide and then get in the box as a target man should do. So Smith, I think it was. Say it may have been Cooper. I could be corrected on that one. He wins the penalty. And Jeb Wallace steps up, smashes it down the middle. The goalkeeper dives to his right, puts his hand back, gets a full hand on it, and it does trickle over the line. We're 1-0 up. Our back four got caught very flat for the equaliser. But as I've said already in my full-time reaction, if you've seen that, it is you got to bear in mind who you're playing against there. You're playing against a very good established La Liga side. La Liga side. Take two. La Liga side who have beaten and done the double over Real Madrid last season. So you've got to bear that in mind. You're not going to get teams unlocked our defence as easy as that, I don't think. Well, and I'm hoping so as well. So they equalise, say, ball straight through the middle, back four caught flat, he gets in between the two centre-halves and he finishes well. Then not long after that, I don't know whether to blame the defence or to blame the midfield for this one, but the guy got the ball with his back to the goal at the Coldblow Lane end. He had a lot of time to collect the ball, turn on the ball, set it out his feet, and then decide he's going to hit one. Beautiful strike beyond Frank Fielding. A few questions today in the ground. People were asking questions over Frank Fielding, saying he doesn't look very good. I think he looks very good, and I don't think you can fault him for any of the goals we conceded today. But getting on to the second half, because we went in at half-time 2-1 down. We've come out for the second half. Ben Thompson is... It can just show you again, I know we keep going over old ground, what a loan move can do for a young player. And although we loaned him out, and although I was one of the people that did rate him before, I'm not saying I'm one of the very few, a lot of us did rate him before he went to Portsmouth. I can't believe how much he's improved. I don't think Neil Harris could probably believe his luck how much he's improved. We have a lot of that's a Kenny Jackett. And as I said, he's come back not as a tough tackling ball winner, but as a forward-thinking, joining in with the forwards, long-range distance goal scorer. He scores an absolute peach of the goal. He wins the ball back high on the edge of the box, a little bit outside the edge of the box by the time he struck it. Over the goalkeeper dipping, keeper's not moved. You've probably seen it by now. If you haven't, look on the Millwall official Twitter page because it is on there along with Conor Mahoney's goal. And we are 2-2. Then almost again, straight up the other end, Adnan Januzaj, ex-Man United player, as I've mentioned, great player. He's flying down the wing. He's cutting around the back of Murray Wallace. He's beat about another 2 or 3 players, and he squares it to the centre forward who's on the edge of the 6-yard box, 3-2. Now, I don't think, again, as I've said, very good side. I don't think Preston's right winger is going to be up to that, to tear us apart like Januzaj has. So it was a good test today. It was a good choice of opponent as well. I'll give the club that. I enjoyed that today. It was a very good test for us. Good stiff test the week before the season. Obviously, we played Granada a couple of seasons ago, and they wasn't really up to scratch Granada. We hammered them 3-0. It didn't really do us any favours. But that today was a good, strong test and a good run out for the boys. Again, in muggy, horrible, heated conditions. But anyway, 3-2 down. Then we make a few changes. Off the top of my head, Smith and AOB both got yanked, and they was replaced by Bob Vardson, and Bradshaw, who I thought both looked better up front than the previously mentioned two. Scalak come on and done more in 10 minutes than I think Jed done in the whole game. Who else? Ryan Leonard come on for Sean Williams. I'm hoping that isn't going to be, he's not going to be a starter, and Williams will get the place next week. Who else? For Murray Wallace come off, Shane Ferguson come on at left back, and Pearce come on and Hutchinson come on centre back. And this may be a little bit of a controversial one, but Pearce missed a few headers at Gillingham, and I don't think people should be too quick to forget how good Sean Hutchinson has been for us. Last year he was plagued by injury a little bit, but he was our player of the year before, and I don't think it's a given that Pearce should get that spot, although he is currently club captain. I think Hutchinson is more than capable of challenging Pearce for that starting spot. And that was it. That was all the changes. Billy Mitchell comes on with 4 minutes to go for Ben Thompson. which was frustrating, really. He should have been, in my opinion, there's nothing the boy can do in 4 minutes, although he did stick a lovely tackling on someone, absolutely crunched someone, which me enjoyed, and I think he's a fantastic player for the future, Billy Mitchell. But, so all them changes, as we know, can usually kill the tempo of a game, and it did really. The game sort of died a death after that, but they couldn't have kept up the level they was at. As I said, it was a great game, 6 goals, 2 penalties, but we get an equaliser, crossfield ball from someone, I can't remember who, from the left-hand side. Marlon Romeo, again, proves to me that he's so much better going forward than he is defending, and he'd be better in a 3-5-2. Beautifully cushioned first-time pass to Conor Mahoney. Conor Mahoney, by this point, switched to the right-hand side, and Scalak switched to the left, which is good. They can keep switching that. He runs to the byline at Coldblow Lane. He cuts back onto his left foot, who was right behind it in the Kitchener. He curls an unbelievable left foot shot into the side netting, and I didn't think it was one of Mahoney's greatest games today, but he's still got them flashes of brilliance. I don't think the players were giving it their all today in the tank. I think fitness-wise, I don't think the gaffer said to him crank up to 100. You could see, I think they was holding back a little bit, which is, he doesn't want injuries a week before the season. He's well within his rights to say that. And Mahoney, I didn't see him making as many driving runs today. Again, difficult, and better opposition could have again played a factor in that. But unbelievable goal from Mahoney, and I think it worries me. I've seen Thompson score one worldie, then I see Mahoney score another worldie. Thompson's probably the better goal, and I'm shitting myself thinking we're going to end up losing these players. But that's the risk you take. You'd rather have the good players and eventually lose them. But yeah, today was a good workout. Say defensively, we looked a little bit. We've conceded 3 goals, but as I've said, La Liga side and all that jazz. But the starting lineup, I don't know. I would say that's going to be the Gaffer's starting lineup next week. Would I go with that starting lineup? No. I wouldn't go with that starting lineup. I wouldn't play Aidan O'Brien. And again, I think Aidan's a goal scorer. And I do think he's a goal scorer, and I've backed him, and I think he's good in front of goal. But the rest of his game isn't fantastic. And I think, as a lot of our centre-forwards are very quickly realising, you don't get a lot of chances. This is what I'm saying about Jed. Jed, if you go back to when we was in League One, he's a prime example. Jed would come back on loan to us when we drew 2-2 at Swindon. I watched it the other day on the club's YouTube highlights. Jed was getting the ball out of his feet, fuck off, whip. Out of his feet, fuck off, whipping it. And he stopped doing that. We don't get many crosses into the box, whipped crosses, which is what we need for Matt Smith to try and get on the end of. But let's go through the team's performance. Sorry, I can see your questions flying in. I will go to questions soon. We've got plenty of time. I'm not in any rush. I've got cold lager on the go. But yeah, the team today, Frank Fielding, thought he was fine. Didn't think there's anything he could have done with any 3 of the goals at all. Yeah, I think he's a little bit exposed for the first one by the defence. Second one's a good long-range shot. And the third one's a tap-in. There's nothing he could have done. Marlon, again, let's bear in mind it is pre-season. And I'm not going to go in too hard on people because today's been a good workout, a good exercise for the club all round, I felt. But Marlon still looks shaky defensively. He needs competition / backup, which I think he's going to get next week, and I'll go on to transfers next week. Without that, he needs help there. He needs someone leaning on him to put him under pressure, but he also needs backup in case he gets injured. I don't think he's a fantastic defender, but I think he's very exciting coming forward and can be very advantageous to us in home games. But yeah, Marlon wasn't the greatest today, to be honest. Left back Murray Wallace, like Murray Wallace at left back. When he first came to the club, I criticised him for being, I remember at Plymouth in the Carabao Cup, he played centre half. He got twisted inside out and done like a backwards roly-poly. The Plymouth player scored, and I said he got turned inside out more times than a baboon's anus. But since then, he proved me wrong. He's moved to left back, and he doesn't look like your orthodox left back because he's big, he's strong, he's a man mountain, Murray, but he's also a very good left back who's strong in the tackle and sort of, as we know, he can get up and score a goal as well. Centre halves, Pearson, Cooper. Yeah, Coops all over him, love him, think he's a great player. I'm still not convinced whether Pearce should be absolute guarantee Stonewall first choice in front of Hutchinson, if I'm honest. Moving into the midfield, Conor Mahoney, brilliant young talent, as I've said, one of his quiet games today, but I don't think he was going all out. I don't think he was giving it everything he's got in the tank, and I think that could have been on the manager's instructions to avoid injury. Sean Williams, Ben Thompson are the best 2 central midfielders we got at the club. That's the best pairing we got all day long. You've only got to look what Williams has done to win that penalty. When he's knocked that ball in, a beautiful ball to Matt Smith for the penalty. You ain't going to get that out of Leonard. You're not going to get a lot out of Leonard, full stop. Trust me, Williams holds the midfield quite well while Thompson bombs on and does his thing. Right midfield, Jed Wallace. I'm sorry, Jed. I don't... I was going to say I don't rate you anymore. But I know you're a good player. I know it's in there. I know you love the club, and I don't want to say. I feel Some players, I don't mind coating them off at all. Don't mind. I feel really horrible saying it about Jed Wallace. I feel really horrible because he's not up to it. He's a winger that don't get any crosses in the box and has no final product. He might as well not be a winger. He might as well not be a winger, honestly. So I'm sorry, Jed, but I've got to be honest with you. I'd start Scalac in front of you at the minute. That's the way it's got to be. And I said that on the Lions TV group chat earlier. And one of the boys come back and said, that's a bold statement saying Scalac over Jed. 3-4 months ago, that would have been a very, very bold statement. But I think Yuri Scalac's done everything he can. He's got a bit between his teeth. He's got a point to prove. And this is what worries me a little bit with Harris. Yuri Scalac started every single pre-season friendly. He's done well. Everyone's noticed he's done well. The gaffer said he's done well. And today he gets dropped for Jed Wallace. Jed Wallace is not doing it. He hasn't done it for the last 10 games of last season. He hasn't been doing it in pre-season. And I think he shouldn't start next week. But I'll get onto that as well. That's our midfield covered. Up front, Matt Smith looked dangerous for the first 10 minutes. Oh, but I stand by what I said. You ain't going to get 10 goals out of him on Budvarsson. I don't think Budvarsson is a bad player by any stretch. I think Budvarsson looks like quite a tidy player, but I don't think Budvarsson looks like an out-and-out striker. So I don't think he's going to get a lot of goals out of Budvarsson. Coupled with, I don't think he's going to get a lot of starts under Harris. I think he's going to be a little bit of a bit part, coming on as a sub, trying to give us something different edge player to the team. Matt Smith, mate, he is as mobile as me after a curry and 10 pints. He can't move. The geezer cannot move. He's bow-legged. He's like hobbling around the pitch. I don't know whether he's unfit, because for the first 10 minutes, he looked very good, and I even tweeted that. But he cannot fucking move, mate. Honestly, get a gel phrase into me, some tandoori king prawns and 5 pints of kingfisher. I can't move at the best of times, so that makes it double. And Matt Smith, he can't move. He's got no mobility. It doesn't matter if he's 6'8", he can't jump. And I think we're struggling again because he's a player that Harris has tracked for a long time, has wanted for a long time. He's been vocal about that. And as with the Ryan Leonard situation, I can see him sticking with it. I hope I'm wrong. Listen, again, it's pre-season. I could come back next week with egg on my face looking like a complete prick. But from what I've seen so far, it's an early shout. Matt Smith, no, absolutely not. Aiden, I felt Aiden struggled today. What Aiden's problem is, Aiden's got to use Matt Smith to the best of his ability. Aiden's got to be a bit selfish and go, right, as I said before, if I was his manager, I'd say be selfish, get on Matt Smith's shoulder. Because when Matt Smith is winning these balls, Aiden's nowhere near him, and then if Aiden gets the ball in front of goal, he'll score. I've no question about that. But Aiden's doing too much work. He's running wide. He's trying to track down people, and he's not strong enough on the ball. He's not pacey enough. As I said before, if you're going to play Smith and AOB up front, get AOB. You've got Smith here. Get AOB here, in and around him. Everything around him, just playing off him. And just trying to get shots on goal. If Aidan O'Brien gets in front of goal with the ball, I'm very confident he'll score 3 or 4 times out of 5. But he didn't do it today. He looks a little bit lost, Aidan, if I'm honest, up front. And the gaffer's come out after the game and said it wasn't really a 4-4-2. Aidan's not an out-and-out striker, which I'm not sure Aidan's going to be happy with that. But he's saying Aidan plays just off the striker. But no, it didn't work for me today with those two up front. Moving into the second half, obviously, the players, Bradshaw looks hungry, looks like he's going to be our main man, looks a similar player, maybe not as good as Lee Gregory. But Budvarsson, again, I'm not bowled over by him, but he's more mobile than Smith. He's definitely more mobile than Smith. He'll definitely offer you more than Smith, I think, in my personal opinion. So next week, if it is 4-4-2, what would I do? Would I play 4-4-2 or would I play 4-5-1? I think it's going to be 4-4-2. So if it was 4-4-2, this is what I'll play next week. I'll play Frank Fielding in goal, Marlon Romeo at right back because I had to. Murray Wallace at left back. I would probably play Alex Pearce with Cooper with a view to hushing some breathing down Pearce's neck. Then I would play Sean Williams and Ben Thompson with Yuri Scalac on the right, Conor Mahoney on the left, and have the two wingers switching constantly. Then I'll play Budvarsson and Bradshaw up front. Another option would be to play one up top. Bradshaw is a lone striker like Gregory used to. I know he's not a big target man, but he's busy and he's got legs and he's got energy. And then instead of having a second striker, play Jed central. Jed, for me, as a winger at Millwall Football Club, is done. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if it's a lack of confidence or... One thing it's definitely not with Jed is a lack of interest. You can see he wants to play for the club. You can see he gives it his all. That's the frustrating thing for me. Okay, so that's the game covered. Pretty much, yeah, we've been waffling on for about 20 minutes, yep. Now, before I go to the questions, Neil Harris has come out after the game and he has said that he expects to add a player in. It will definitely be on Monday, so I'll be ready, getting busy with the cameras to put a VT out. Monday, we're definitely going to get a player in and one out. The one out, I suspect, I don't know, reading between the lines and everything that's gone on, I suspect that is Fred Onyedinma. It needs to be Fred Onyedinma. I have very vocally backed Fred and said that him and Harris should put everything, put everything to bed, wrap it up in a little box and start again with Fred's career. But what Harris has now said is that Fred definitely don't want to play for the club still. Then, unfortunately, sorry, Fred, I do rate you, and I think you're a good young talent, and there's nothing personal against you because you're a nice young lad. You've got to go. Fred's got to go. End of story now. Get rid of Fred, and I think you're going to see Fred leave the club Monday. I'm expecting Fred to go to Wickham on Monday in exchange for the right back. I don't know his name. I forgot his name. I should check that out. Sorry. But the right back that we got linked with, McCarthy, is it, I think, from Wickham? I think Fred's going to go to Wickham, and I think we're going to get McCarthy in exchange, and we've got to give him a bit of dough. That's what I'm expecting the move to be. I am hoping and I am praying that the move of one in and one out is going to be Fred Onyedinma going to Portsmouth and Millwall breaking the bank and bringing in Jamal Lowe in the other direction. I think we're the only club now in for Jamal Lowe. I don't think Jamal Lowe... Oh, the comments just started. As soon as I said the magic words Jamal Lowe, the comments just started going. So, yeah... I think it's definitely going to be Fred leaving the club on Monday. Whether it is Jamal Lowe coming in from Portsmouth in the other direction, that's what I'm hoping. But I think it's going to be McCarthy coming in as a right back from Wickham Wanderers. I'm sorry, I'm just unlocking my laptop and I'm going to put the Bin Lazios on. And you know what that means? Cold lager and questions time, boys and girls. Hit me up. What do we think of today's game? Hang on, my old bins ain't... My bins are taking... Billy Symes, I see you today, Symes. He went, "What's you at the bar? You're supposed to buy me a lager." Billy Symes says, Jez needs to play behind a forward. Yeah, if he's anything to do, and he's nothing to do, yeah. So, Billy Symes is agreeing with what I'm saying. Jed can't play on the wing. Jed can't play on the wing anymore. He's finished on the wing for Millwall. He doesn't do anything. And he's very energetic and he's very busy, but he's... If you've done one of them... If you've done one of the, what's it called, like the stats thing on him, you'd be amazed if you looked at Jed Wallace's stats today, especially. Giving the ball away, crosses, just kicking crosses, just hitting the ball against players. Not even looking like he's attempting. Right, there's a lot of questions flowing. Vicky Davis says, why is Fred going? There's been a long-standing thing with Fred. As far as I know, the long-standing situation with Fred is... I don't think Fred got above his station. I think his agent got above his station, and there was a time when there was interest of apparently Fulham and apparently QPR, and he could have been going to one of them. And it was at the time when his agent obviously also looks after Lookman, who went from Charlton to Everton, and I think he was filling Fred's head with ideas. Harris has basically said that the issue with Fred is his agent, and I think he'll definitely move on Monday. Someone says Williams has legs. I don't think Williams has legs. I think Williams is a little bit like Aidan O'Brien. They look like they can't run. They look like they're out of gas, but they're actually not. It's just the way they come across. Williams is definitely, along with Ben Thompson, our best option with the midfielders we have fit and available for Saturday's game. Lawrence Down says, today, are you still concerned about a lack of goals from our attackers? Do you think we need to add another striker or a player? 100% we need to add another striker in, but I don't think we're going to. I think we're done. I think we're going to get 2 more players in before the start of the season, and I think that's going to be a goalkeeper, which is going to be Aaron Ramsdale from Bournemouth, who was on loan at AFC Wimbledon last season, and I think the other one is going to be the right back I've just mentioned from Wickham. I think our 4 strikers. I think Aidan's had a scream up. I think Aidan's had a scream up. Reading between the lines again of what's been said on the club's, what Harris has said on the club's social media platforms. I think Aidan's had a scream up. Said, give me the chance to prove myself, which I now think he's going to get, along with Budvarsson, who we've just bought, Smith, who we've just bought, and Bradshaw, who's never really played for us since he's been bought. So when they play, they seem to play. You seem to see Smith play with O'Brien, and you seem to see Budvarsson play with Bradshaw. I think, I think the second half 2 was probably our best bet. And again, I'm not bowled over by Budvarsson. I don't think he's an out-and-out striker, but we definitely need to break the bank. I would say we need to break the bank more on a target man, really, than a Jamal Lowe type player. But I won't say no to Lowe if he wants to come. Vicky, tell Trevor, absolutely no problem, pleasure. Hope he enjoys his present competition win. Lenny Barnes says Smith and Daddy are unfit. Now, I'd agree with that. I'd ask why they're unfit at this stage of the season. Yeah, not a lot of our players don't look that fit. I did think that against Southend. I did think it again today. It's very hot conditions at the minute. Let's have it right. The conditions are very, very hot. But a lot of our players don't look fit. Billy Signs again. What are we going to do with Ryan Leonard? He can't cut it in the Championship, and we all know it. Yes, agree. I think a lot of us agree. I'm hoping a lot of people don't agree just because they're watching this channel. I want people to forge their own opinions. If people think I'm wrong and they think Leonard's a good player, then that's fair enough. That's your opinion. I don't want it to be seen as a witch hunt like it did with Jordan Archer, who still hasn't got a club, by the way. Have you noticed that one? But I'm saying nothing. Yeah, with Ryan Leonard, I'm sure he's a nice guy, and it's nothing against Ryan Leonard personally. Again, he plays for Millwall. Neil Harris paid the money to bring him to Millwall. He wasn't going to turn down the opportunity to get a better move to a bigger club and a better division and on more money. But he's not up to it. He's not up to it. It's absolutely... It's obvious to Stevie Wonder that Ryan Leonard isn't good enough for this division. And I think that Ryan Leonard will start next week. I think Ryan Leonard will start with Ben Thompson, and if he does, we are banging this shoot. Where is Jason Mulumbali? Mate, these people, these surnames, they're weird, aren't they? I can't... Jason Mulumbi, I think his name is, obviously the young guy we just signed on loan from Brighton for the duration of the 2019-20 season. Again, apparently he's another one. He's not fit. Why is he not fit? Has he not done a part of a pre-season with Brighton and then pack his bag, come an hour up the road and do the rest of the pre-season with Millwall? I can't work it out. I can understand people not wanting to get fit, like me, fat bastards who like to drink beer and eat shit. But if you're a footballer and you've been doing a pre-season, why are you not fit? I don't understand it. But apparently Malumbi is not fit and won't be in contention at all until we play West Bromwich Albion in the Carabao Cup. Which is, that's after we played 2 league games. So, I don't know. I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sold on that one. Okay, Mickey Cole agrees with me. He says, fuck off. He says Hutchinson has to start over Pearce. I agree with that, mate. I've just said it. I think a lot of people have been very quick to dismiss Sean Hutchinson. Very short memories, a lot of us. Remember how good he was for us. Last season he had a couple of injury setbacks. And don't forget, he was very good for Millwall after a not a shaky start, a hindered start, shall we say. Because he had a lot of injury problems when he first came to the club. And it looked like he wasn't going to make his mark at the club. Then he goes on to be our club captain. And obviously when Morrison wasn't there, our team captain. And the players, supporters player of the year, was it? I think, well, anyway, he got player of the year and Jake Cooper got young player of the year, whenever it was. Not last season, gone season before. Now, he had his issues last year. He randomly cut his leg on the bins and he struggled to get fit again. He was ill, he was in hospital for a while. But I think he looks good, Sean Hutchinson. He looks more comfortable on the ball than Pearce does. And I like Pearce. Listen, let's put it this way. Some people want Pearce, some people want Hutchinson, but let's not moan about it. It's a good combo to have to play alongside Cooper. So I'm happy with our defensive situation, to be honest. Other than we need another right back. And obviously, it's still a keeper. Connor King says Connor Mahoney's goal was first class. That defender is still sliding. Yeah, he went so far out of the way. He had to pay to get back in, I think, the left back, didn't he? But Connor Mahoney, again, a very good young talented player. I honestly think the gaffer said to him today, go easy out there. Don't go getting injured. Because I didn't see him make many of those driving runs. But he's on the set pieces beautifully. He can score goals. He cuts in on his left foot, which was good to see because we haven't had someone that can do that for a long time. I can't remember even attempt to pronounce your name. Rawhide something. Rawhide Kubayashi. I've had to put your name in to go with a question, which is, I think it's a little bit of an outrageous question. Could Marlon Romeo end up being Mill's best ever right back? Honestly, in my opinion, no. Frank MFC says we need to fuck Elliot and Fred off. What do you think? Well, I think Fred's the player that Harris hasn't named, but will leave the club on Monday. Tom Elliott again was coming against Concord Rangers, and I don't think that was for him to be figuring as a part of our squad this season. I think that was to put him in the shop window to hopefully get him out the club, and he got injured. So unfortunately for now, we're stuck with Elliott, but he's injured. I don't think he's going to figure. I pray, not that I'm religious, that he won't figure. Glenn Williams says the Real Sociedad fans were decent. Yeah, they were lively from start to finish, weren't they, Sociedad fans? They could have been a little bit disappointed coming to the Den today. You know, it wasn't many people there, and they could have been a little bit underwhelmed with the Den in general. But Yeah, they were lively. You know, give them their due. They come down, they jumped around without their shirts on. It's everything you expect from foreign fans. So fair play to the old, the Trinidad boys. Reese Lana says, do you think Tyler Burry should get first team football this year? Now, Tyler Burry, or Burry, it's really annoying me. I don't actually know how that's pronounced. I haven't heard anyone say it yet. Not that my pronunciation is spot on. Oh, hang on. Siren alert. That's not bad, 30 minutes in. Tyler Burry, he scored the only goal last night in the game at Welling United, where our under-23s were victorious by 1-0. I'm hearing he was the best player on the pitch by an absolute mile. He played games last year for AFC Wimbledon. He did actually play games for AFC Wimbledon, and he's been brought in this season for us as part of the under-23 squads, but he's been in and around the first team quite a lot, so that's encouraging to see. I think we've got some good young pros. We've got, I've forgotten his name straight away, the left back, Tiencia is supposedly decent. Skeffington, Sam Skeffington is supposedly decent. Gary Alexander. Sorry, George. George Alexander is decent. I like all three of those. But I think with Tyler Burry and with Billy Mitchell, you've got two that are a little bit further ahead than the others. And I think you could see them in and around it. I'll be very disappointed if you don't see Tyler Burry and Billy Mitchell involved as starters, or maybe not starters, for the West Brom game in the Carabao Cup. Give the boys a run. Get these players in. Give them contracts and try and get them to play. Because as we've seen with too many Millwall players in the past, they come through the youth ranks, we hold them back, and then they end up going and playing for Dover. Throw them in early. If they've got the ability, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're good enough, you're good enough. Vicky Davis, Elliot can't run. It's as simple as that. I'll back it. Yeah, Anthony Brookins agreeing what I've just said. He's echoing what I've just said. He says Tiencia looks like a player, thinks he could push on. I'd agree with that. What's happening to James Meredith, Trevor, Millwall Davis? I'm pretty sure James Meredith left the club. And I'm sure when the time's right, the club may let us know what's going on. And that's all I'll say. Kieran Salisbury says, I saw something about Lowe's deal with Wigan falling through and us potentially signing him. You think it's still worth it for us to sign him? All day long, it's worth us spending the money. It'll give the players a lift. It will give the fan base a massive lift. It will show it'll give out, a little bit of a statement intent by the club. If we got Lowe in, where would he play? Honestly, I'm not angry with Jed Wallace because I like him. I love him. He's done a lot for the club. But if I could swap Wallace for Lowe and give them $1 million, I'd do it tomorrow. I don't think... Where would Lowe fit in now? He'd straight fit in the first team, no question about it. He'd go straight in. Would he play up front? We've already just signed 2 strikers. Would he play in midfield as a winger? We've just signed Mahoney and Scalax now coming back into the fold. So if we do get Jamal Lowe, it's going to push someone else out. But if that's the case, so be it. But I think more than that, I think, honestly, I back Bradshaw to do the business, and I think he's going to do the business. I feel for him because he's got no chance of getting any sort of service. He needs knockdowns from Smith or he needs crosses in from the box. And Smith looks like he blows out his arse after 10 minutes and can't run. The only hope we've got at a minute for him getting on the end of a few things is Conor Mahoney's crosses. So I'm looking at he's getting on the end of Conor Mahoney's crosses. I just saw one of the comments pop up and said, Meredith's gone Villa. It ain't Aston Villa. It might be Accrington Villa or something like that, but he definitely ain't good enough for Aston Villa. Lenny Barnes says... Lenny Barnes? I don't know that name. You're not Dean Barnes' nephew, are you? You might be. If you had to put a price tag on Cooper, how much would it be? It sounds crazy to say it, but in this current climate and transfer market, the way football is today, you could be looking for 10 million for Jake Cooper. You've got to be looking for 10 million. I think this could be Jake Cooper's final season with us. I was surprised we didn't sell him this summer. I'm pretty sure this club's sniffing around him from higher level, and I think you'll see Jake Cooper leave the club at the end of this season again. That's just my opinion. I don't know anything concrete. Ross Monaghan says, our new keepers. Well, we've only got one. We've only got 2 keepers at the club at the minute, professional senior goalkeepers, which is Ryan Sanford, who played in goal against Southend the other night. Didn't do a lot wrong, but doesn't look... he's not going to be a long-term Millwall player, in my opinion. And also... Frank Fielding, who I like the look of, but he needs competition, and we're going to get a goalkeeper in. We have to get a goalkeeper in before the start of the season. Whether that is Ramsdale, who was on loan at Wimbledon and comes from Bournemouth, could be a little bit of a Conor Mahoney connection there. Could be good for Conor to have another young boy from his old club around him. Or is it going to be Scott Carson? I'd happily take Scott Carson, but I'm imagining he's going to be on between 10 to 15 grand a week at Derby. He's still a Derby player. It would be a loan deal. And I think it could be a little bit of deja vu, getting a goalkeeper on loan for loads of wages that doesn't end up playing. I think the gaffer will take the cheaper option, the younger option that could potentially in time turn into a Millwall player, and that's Aaron Ramsdale. But we definitely need to keep her in. Saville went for 8. Someone said, for fuck's sake, Cooper should be going for 15 million. Saville went for 8. Let's hope Cooper don't go anywhere for the time being. Opinion on Harry Ransom. Opinion on Harry Ransom. Haven't seen him play again. He didn't come on. Did he come on the other night at Southend? I know he was on the bench. I wasn't really looking, to be honest. When you go Millwall pre-season friendlies, you end up having a chat with people. You don't really watch the game too much. But I watched today's game with great interest. Harry Ransom is, again, another young non-league player we've got in. This must be doing all right at the club. He's still in and around the under-23s. Long term, will he make the cut? I don't know. Someone's just asked, where do you get the clobber from? They don't want to wash their car with it. They didn't say the last bit. No One Likes His Clobber is one of our sponsors. The link is everywhere. It's in the description below. It's on our social media. So if you want it, that's where to find it. Smithers Jones said, oh, hang on. Smithers Jones says Harry Ransom played last night when he was decent. Good to hear. Tommy says, how long until Thompson gets the captain's armband? It's a pressure I don't think Ben Thompson needs. I think it's a responsibility to snap your arm off tomorrow to do it, because that's the sort of character he is. He just come back. He come back. He wasn't getting in our team last season. Let's remember that. Let's not put too much pressure on the young man's shoulders. He wasn't getting in last season. He couldn't get in front of Leonard Williams or Tunnicliffe, so he got shipped out on loan to Portsmouth, where he's come back an unbelievably better player. But I can see what you're saying. If Hutchinson comes in for Pearce, then Hutchinson will be manager. The manager? Absolutely lost me head here, and I'm not even pissed. So your question on Ben Thompson, should he be captain now? As I said, I think it's a responsibility that he will absolutely bite your hand off for. I don't think it's a responsibility we should put on him. I think it's too soon, because last season he couldn't get in our side. He got loaned out to Pompey. He's come back as like the young prodigy, been unbelievable, been better than any of us could have imagined, and he showed that again today, that the back end of last season wasn't just a fluke, and he is now that good. But to make him captain, I don't know. I think if Pearce drops out, I think Hutchinson will automatically take the armband for now, and I'm happy with that. Ben Thompson will be a Millwall captain at one stage of his career, without doubt, unless, God forbid, we sell him. So his time will come. Yeah, Sparky, but his time will come. Sparky says, lay off the beers. I had one beer at Millwall, and I've just had one bottle of Heineken in front of your very eyes. I'm not even pissed. I think I'm tired. How many beers you had? Yeah, I'm getting shit, and rightly so. Again, listen, this is live streams. The live streams is good to interact with you boys and girls, but the camera quality isn't fantastic because it's off my phone. It gets stuck. It breaks up sometimes. Sometimes I'll fuck up, which is human error. I'm not that good. Obviously, I'm not Danny One Take. But I'm not sure if I'll continue the live streams. I'm being a bit lazy with the live streams at the minute, and I don't think maybe I'll do them when the season starts, unless I can up the quality of the show in general. Like right now, I'm talking and you can see light bulbs in the reflection of my glasses. I just don't like it. So maybe I will or won't do... maybe I will or won't continue doing the live streams. You'll definitely get a more polished, better edited pre-match prediction on Thursday for the Preston game. 2 beers lightweight. Simon Amora says, Dan, do you ignore most messages? And let's let the old Bill go past. Fucking crime wave in Bexley. We saw that thing in Welling High Street, by the way. No, I don't ignore most messages. They come up so thick and fast on here that even if someone calls me a wanker or something, I probably won't see it because it's going... Yes, people want me for stuttering. Sorry, boys. Tommy says, get some guests on for the live streams. That is the plan, mate, going forward. Want to get some guests on. And I can do that from one of our new sponsors, the Eltham Terrace Club. That is the plan going forward. The problem we've got is we like to do ones with all the boys from Lions TV. We started doing the Den Debate. I don't know if you saw those shows last season. And that's great in theory. I won't say their names, but some boys live in East London. Some boys live down in Kent. Some boys live the wrong side of the wall, just over in Essex. So it's very difficult to get everyone together for zero money. When I say zero money, I don't mean me, I mean them. They do enough for me on the channel for nothing, and it's hard to get us all together. But live streams is something I definitely want to do. I've mentioned before, I love the Joe Rogan podcast. Obviously, I can never get to that level, but I like the way that he's got someone just sitting there, behind the camera, running it all for him, and he hasn't got to worry about any of it. Bobby Tabadidi. Sorry, Bob, I can't say your surname, but I love you. You're absolutely crackers. I want you to come on my channel next week and have an interview. Ross Monaghan says, how was the walk round, Dan? Now, I think he's referring to the Docs to the Den documentary, which I think I've mentioned. I'm going to do a Saturday, and I haven't done it yet, Ross. There's the answer to that. I'll happily take people around. I'm going to organise a day during the season on a home day, and I will take everyone round and do a tour of the Isle of Dogs, and then we can all get the clipper over to Bermondsey. We can have a few beers throughout the day, and then go to a home game. No charge. It's a freebie, don't panic, I'm not charging any money, not looking for anything out of anyone. But, yeah, just thought it might be nice. A few Mill fans, still have a day out, go and have a few beers, look around where the old grounds were on the Isle of Dogs, and then get a clip of it, the Lord Nelson's still there, the George Pub's still there, go in there, have a few beers. The walk round will probably take us an hour, and then we can get a clipper on the Thames, straight over to Bermondsey. Should be a good day. On the question of how is the documentary going, which someone else just asked, the documentary is going very, very well. Very well. It is done, edited, completed, 45 minutes long. I'm up to that stage. Next week, I've got my last two guests. One is the fantastic, brilliantly talented, I'm going to say, and I honestly mean that, Nick Hart from the Actung Millwall podcast. We're going to go over to where the old ground was, the original Den, because Nick has been a very well-respected pioneer, get that word in, of our fan base for a long, long time. He's been in and around our fan base, been a very strong influence on our fan base, and I really like Nick, and I really like his podcast. He's very intelligent, not unlike me, who's a bit thick. He comes across, he has these little innuendos, and he'll give you little snippets and little quotes, and he's very good. So Nick's very kindly agreed to come, because I'm imagining, as me now as a 39-year-old man, in 1989, 1990, I have my memories of being at the old Den and of us getting promoted. But I want to get Nick's take on that, because I don't know this, not be rude, Nick, I think you would have been about my age then. So we're going to bounce off each other. And then on Tuesday, dare I say it? Who is going to be the guest? I'm not going to tell you. Because it is booked in. It is allegedly 99% on, and he's promised me he's going to do it. The final guest, which I'll talk about the current day Millwall with. But he's big. No, it's not. He's one of the biggest YouTubers there is, put it that way. And you'll probably get it from that. But yeah. When is the Docs to the Den coming out? The Docs to the Den is coming out on Thursday, which is the 1st. I'm not... I ain't shit out here, by the way. I ain't turned into a shit house. But we struggled with the weather last week. 2 days rain, 2 days ridiculous heat. So I may need an extra day. But by hook or by crook, it will be out this coming Thursday or not Friday. Jack Daniel, they've held your comment back there because you sworn. You put fucking hell 2 beers and you're coming out with words like innuendo. Did I say innuendo? Johnny B's got it. Daniel Hemerton's on it. C1's got half an idea. Let's hope so, boys. Let's hope so. Right, any more questions? I think I've taken them all on the laptop. So yeah, who was there today? Who thought it was a good... hang on, sorry, Simon says, reckon any of our strikers will get into double figures? I said this after the Southend game, and again, I don't want to be seen to be too negative on the channel. I don't want to be Mr. Doom and Gloom, because I love this football club and I want this football club to succeed. This football club succeeds. Not only one, am I now happy as a fan, 2, my channel gets bigger. Simple as that. That's the God's honest truth. I'm over the moon with it. So I don't want anyone to fail, but I want to air my opinions because I think I know my football. And I think if you look at the history of this channel and Players I've said won't make the cut, they haven't made the cut. The players I've said would kick on and make the cut, like Jake Cooper in the early days, have made the cut. So I do like to think I know my onions when it comes to football. But as strikers, I can't see any of them getting 10 other than Bradshaw. And I'm sorry, I really don't want to sit here and say that. I want to sit here and say, my God, we've signed some brilliant strikers and we are going to be flying this year. And I honestly can't see it. And again, I hope I'm wrong. Bradshaw could get 10. Bradshaw, I really feel for Bradshaw. He needs to get off the mark. He needs to get off the mark, and he's probably itching to get off the mark. But again, the South End, give the man an attempt to shoot. Didn't have any attempts on goal. Yuri Skalak was the only one. That's another reason I like Skalak in the side. He's not afraid to have a pop, and he keeps hitting the target. Wall79 says, have you heard the rumour that Archer has contacted the club to come back? Well, my season ticket will be going back if that happens. Jacob Tame says, opinions on the kit this year. This is going to be another moan. Why do I keep moaning? I don't mean to. Listen, the kits are the kits. Then, you know, the first kit, the home kit, it's not really for me. I'm pleased if people like it. And as I said, I don't care what we're playing as long as we get the results. Not a great lover of the home kit. The away kit I did like until I went into the club shop today and it looked like they just got them all out of a bin and just fucking thrown them up on the shelves. It wasn't ironed. I know they've got to be ironed, but they were all creased and hanging up on hangers all sideways like this. It just wasn't very nicely laid out. The club shop was packed. The queue was about 35 people deep. And I was actually going to get Mini-Me the away kit today, but I said, we'll miss the kickoff if you have to queue up this long. So, away kit is decent. I think there'll still be a third kit. Paul Tutty says away kit's best. Jordan L says Archer is a conference player. I'd agree with that. Absolutely at best, he's a conference player. Next question is from a guy with a load of letters and numbers. How do I think Millwall play today against Real Sociedad? I did cover this at the start of the show. You may or may not have seen it. It was a good workout for the boys. It was a good choice of competition, I thought. We looked good in patches going forward. I think the heat was a factor. They affected us a little bit. But let's have it right. 3-3 against Real Sociedad. You've got to be happy with that. You've got to be slightly concerned we conceded 3. You've got to be happy we managed to score 3. 2 fantastic goals. It was a good day. I enjoyed myself. It was good to get back down there. Mini-Me enjoyed it. Real Sociedad fans, topless swinging shirts. Good day all round. Good exercise, good run out. And I think / hope the manager will have his first 11 in mind now for next Saturday. Anna Kirioku, who we know isn't now Anna Kurioku, is her husband with a lovely beard and sort of haircut that I'd like if I wasn't receded. Good to meet you the other night, mate. Hugill and Nahiki Wells are both close to joining QPR on loan. Would you take one of them? Yes, I'd take Jordan Hugill in a heartbeat. Some words are really hard to pronounce tonight for me. I don't know what's happened. I haven't even hit the Vino yet. Wait till I hit the Vino and come back on. Good night. You won't understand. You need subtitles. But yes, in answer to your question, Anna Kirioku, who is not actually Anna Kurioku, it's a bearded man. Yes, I'd take Jordan Hugill. I think we need a target man because I don't think Matt Smith's going to cut the mustard, and I hope I'm wrong. Johnny B says, I was behind you, Dan. Easy. Opinions on Matt Smith. First 10 minutes looked good. Held the ball up well. 1 headers. 10 minutes, after 10 minutes, looked like he was blowing out his arse. Doesn't look like he's going to be a goal scorer. Doesn't look like he's going to do the business for Millwall for me. And I looked on Twitter after the game and on my YouTube comments as well. And again, I don't want people to say, oh, Dan from Lions TV says that Smith's shit, so shit. I don't want that. I want people to forge their own opinions. I could be wrong. Again, you know, as someone someone at the club said, what does he know? Why are people watching this guy? Because what does he know? He's never played football in his life. Well, you're wrong on that one. I have played football in my life to a good standard, but I could be wrong on these players. Who knows? But Matt Smith, no, not for me at the minute, unfortunately. Paul Toville said he queued up for 45 minutes to get a home shirt. Mental. Yeah. Some people saying don't read too much into friendlies. Fair point, but your friendlies are what gets you into the right frame of mind, into the right rhythm to go out and do the business. Maybe the club will play a game behind closed doors in the week that we won't get to see at the training ground, and that's where they're lying out the final bits and bobs. We only see what we see on match days. That's a fair point, but for me, you got to be you got to do the business now. Week to go, you got to worry about friendlies. The players were worrying about friendlies because they was trying to get the Real Sociedad centre off sent off, which rightly so they should have been. Someone said, I got the No One Likes Us clobber last week. It's quality stuff. Cheers, Chris Curry. I think I will just mention that. Tom Slamman says, I'm a Leeds fan. My sister is a Millwall fan. Interesting days when we play. 2 questions to Tom. 3 questions. 1, why are you not a Millwall fan? 2, where do you live? And 3, how are you end up being that opposite ends of the spectrum? The Lions TV group chat is going as I'm speaking above, and I can see Jack Carter. You might know Jack if you watch YouTube. He's the goalkeeper for Palmer's, does a lot of our pre-match predictions. He just said no goals in our strikers. Same story as last year. That's just popped up on my WhatsApp feed as we're all talking. Lawrence Downs says, hang on, sorry, Anna, who's not Anna, the bearded lady says, that's your new name. Scalak in for Jed, Hutch in for Pierce. I think sometimes I'll say stuff and people will go, what? But I think a lot of people have walked away from there today seeing what I've seen. Scalak has to come in for Jed. I'm sorry, he does. Unless you're going to play Jed Central. Scalak deserves it. Look at what's happened this pre-season. Scalak deserves that opportunity. And that's not going to help Scalak's that's not going to help Scalak's confidence. You know, he's just broke back into the team. Harris has come out many times and said in pre-season, I'm very impressed by Yeri. He's got to give me a lot to think about. But is that all hot air? Because when it comes to the crunch, he'll play Leonard next week. He'll play Jed next week. And these players are not doing it. Scalak deserves that opportunity, unfortunately. And if he fucks it, he fucks it. We've got Jed there. But Jed's not doing enough in his role in the team. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Jordan L says, Kiefer Moore, Harris needs to sign him. I'd agree. That is the player I would rather go for over Jamal Lowe. We need a young, long-term target man for this club. We lost our long-term... What is wrong with me tonight? I can't fucking talk. We lost our long-term target man at the club when Steve Morrison unfortunately tailed off. His career tailed off. And that's when we lost... that's when we lost our shape a bit, because Morrison tailed off. Matt Smith is not going to be a long-term target man for our club. He's already 31 years old. He already hasn't scored a lot of goals in the Championship. And to me, he's already looking like he's not going to do the business. Someone says there, way up, says it will be Smith and Bradshaw next week. You could be right. I think you could be right. Daniel Hemmington says, Dan, do you think Jed Wallace could play as a striker? He has done before. But again, it's not, in emergency, yes. In a long-term solution, no. Johnny B says, what upgrades are you willing to make the quality of this channel better? It's fair enough. Well, mate, I'd love to have all the cameras in the world, all the lighting in the world. I'd love to have a team behind me, an editing team, production team, but it's YouTube. It doesn't pay. It doesn't allow that. I am a one-man army. I have filmed the entire documentary single-handedly, and it has not been easy. I've had to do narrating for that. I've had to plan for that. I've had to script for that. Then I've gone out and filmed stuff and realised that I need to link those things. So I've had to go back and do searching. It's took me months. But I do understand. I'm my own biggest critic, and I'll put a video out and I'll go, fuck me, the logo's just too far to the right, or I'll go, it's the camera quality could have been a little bit better. But unfortunately, the quality of camera I want, I'd ideally like. I mean, look, we're in here now. The lighting isn't fantastic. I do know that, and I'm after getting a big LED production light. But one, I do everything from inside my house, so I haven't got the room to do what I need to do, and I haven't got the cameras. In time, I'm hoping to be able to spend, to get all the equipment I would like, it's going to cost me about $5,000. But I'll get sponsored for the channel, yes, but a lot of that goes back in. I spent $1,000 of that last night from the sponsors on mine and Mini Me season tickets. Then I went to the ground today, spent another £25 on tickets and another £30 on West Brom tickets for me and him. Plus, we went in the club shop. I've done about £1,000 this week on Millwall. So, yes, I get sponsors for the channel. And yes, I do just about scrape a living now. Just. It is my full-time job. It'll only get bigger, and hopefully as it gets bigger and better, the camera standard will get better. But I do take on board that. That is a completely fair criticism, because I'm not always happy. As I said, like right now, I'm not happy with the lighting. I'm not happy I'm streaming off a phone. But one, I don't know, a lot of people, I self-taught myself everything in production. I don't have any qualifications in it. I'm a qualified coppersmith by trade. I've been doing this for 3.5 years now. I bought a laptop, I taught myself to edit, but I do, yeah, it does need improving, and I do appreciate your comments on that. And hopefully, if Millwall make the Premier League, we can get a studio and just crack on and live the dream. Johnny B, I've said to you multiple times I can make thumbnails and stuff. I can make thumbnails, mate. That ain't a problem. Thumbnails are not a drama. I can always manage to stick them up. Billy Symes says, fuck the critics, my woman and the kids love it. And I love you. And I tell you what, Bill, it's lucky she's your old woman because she could be mine if she wasn't. Tell you what, you've done well there, mate. Well played. Fair play to you. Yeah, okay, so I'm not down about the comments about the channel needs to be better visually. I do agree with that. Anything else on football, or should we jack it? Matt Anderson, hello mate. My old mate from up the road, Matt, says Scalak and Mahoney down the flanks. Again, I think it's plain for everyone to see. But Harris will not do it. Harris will not drop Jed Wallace next week. I will be amazed next week if this isn't our starting lineup. I think it's going to be Frank Field in goal. It's going to be Marlon Romeo at right back. This is what I think the gaffer's going to pick. Marlon Romeo right back, Murray Wallace left back, Pearce and Cooper. Then our midfield four is going to be Jed on the right, Ryan Leonard, Tomo in the middle, and Mahoney left with, I think it'll be Smith and Bradshaw up front. I think it'll be Smith and Bradshaw up front. I'm not sure why he hasn't really played them together at any point. To my knowledge, he hasn't in pre-season. But yeah, I think everyone's seeing someone else. We're all seeing the same thing basically. Bezzy9 says Jed couldn't score Scalak's goal last week or Mahoney's today. Yeah, I said the same to Minimi when he scored. I don't think he could have. I don't think Jed got a chance today in front of goal. Took too long. He makes bad decisions on the ball, and it's a show. I say again, I feel bad saying it. Symes has offered me $5,000 all day long. I'll take that. If Jason Mulumbe works out, we will be fine. Leonard is just not good enough. I hope he can change my mind, but I don't see it. Yeah, I agree with that completely. I know a lot of Southend fans would love him. Okay, so the Southend fans thing. When we got Dave Worrell, my mate is a Southend fan, went, you took our best player there, fucking brilliant. And Dave Worrell didn't really crack it with us. He had a lot of problems off the pitch, which I won't go into. But Ryan Leonard, again, you took our best player, this is a liberty. They're your best player because you're 15th in League One. They're not good enough for the Championship. So yeah, moving on to the rest of that comment about Mulumbe. I put a video out on Mulumbe. I didn't really know a lot about him. I usually know when a player's signing. I know when a player's going to sign, and I'll prepare my video and get it ready. But I didn't know Mulumbe was going to sign, and that's why I put the video out on the train. I also didn't know that any sort of history on him because he's never really played any sort of games. But since Mulumbe has signed, let's do a little bit of on Jason Mulumbe. He's come from Brighton, Republic of Ireland lad, captain of their under-21s apparently. Played for Republic of Ireland at every level other than obviously first team so far. Brought over to England in 2017 by Brighton. So, he's very highly thought of there. Just signed a new long-term contract at Brighton, so obviously we're not going to be buying him. But when they asked him Brighton sat him down and said, where do you think your immediate long-term future lies? And he said Millwall, randomly. He's supposed to be a little tenacious animal. And he could be the answer for us. I would have gone for more experience in there. I definitely think we need more experience in there I think Mulumbe's come in to be competition. I think you could well see Mulumbe and Thompson in there at one point if Leonard doesn't cut the mustard. I think he was definitely here for that reason. Brighton wouldn't have loaned us to him unless he had aspirations of playing first team football. Brighton wouldn't loan him to him and say, yeah, fine, leave him on your bench, because he could sit on Brighton's bench. He's going to play games, Mulumbe, when he's fit. And hopefully he'll do the business for us. But yeah, Leonard for me, I don't want to make it a witch hunt against Leonard because I'm sure he's a lovely bloke. And I'm sure, as in the past, people go, you're burying Jordan Archer, you've turned him into a shit keeper. No, Jordan Archer, honestly, will end up in a conference at best. I've said it before and I'll continue to say it. Shane Ferguson, I've criticised in the past. And it's nothing against these players, I just don't rate them. And I do need to understand, as I've been very politely informed a few times, that I have an audience and I need to be careful what I say. But I'm not slagging these people off personally. I wish Ryan Leonard all the best. I wish Ryan Leonard goes back to Southend or works somewhere else and has a very successful career. I don't dislike anyone other than Jordan Archer. But but I just don't think it's up to the standard of football. Just mentioning Shane Ferguson, I just mentioned. I'm not sure if he's going to be first choice left back. I think it's going to be tough for Fergie because we signed Conor Mahoney. And make no mistake, we needed an attacking left-footed player. Fergie wasn't good enough for that. Fergie sort of came back from the dead and had a good season last season. But we didn't have a great season. And the fact that Fergie was up for Player of the Year just proves to me how bad of a season we had. But no, Fergie was always technically good. He just didn't have that little bit of hunger, that little bit of aggression, that little bit of Millwallness in him that you need. And now Conor Mahoney signed. I think Ferguson could struggle to get in the side, and a few people are not happy with that. And the reason he'll struggle as well, when he's unfortunate in this sense, because he can play left mid or he can play left back, and he's neither either or. So in that sense, I think the gaffer will say, right, we'll play Murray Wallace, or I think the gaffer likes, and clearly he said a few times Murray Wallace is like a new signing when he said about Bradshaw and Thompson as well, come back from injury. I think Fergie could struggle getting the side this year. Some people agree with that, some people don't. But for me, yeah, Mahoney's going to be the out-and-out first-choice left winger with Murray Wallace left back. And then I think Fergie could be back on the bench after quite a good season last year. So Fergie will still be, chomping at people's ankles, looking to prove people wrong and get back into the side. Things with a boy, Mr. Beast. Is that all one name? Are you mad, bruv? He said, I'm so confused. I just joined. I have no idea who you are. I don't have an idea who I am at times, mate, but you're on it. I don't really know what to say on that, to be honest. I'm getting a bit tired, but 61 minutes, almost 61 minutes in. Charlie says, hi Dan, please notice my comment. Right, I'm going to show you a comment. And what does it say? Meh. Wow. Connor is muster, says Bobby. Bob, I can't say your fucking surname, mate. Bobby Tabatabi. Is that right? Billy Symes' kids are worried. She's loving that now. She's a salt bill. Well done, mate. So are you. So are you. Lovely couple, lovely family. We'll leave it at that. She's better off for you, mate. I only let her down. I see we're good at doing that, letting women down. That's it, I think. Yeah. Michael Heisman says, need to give Jed a rocket. Chazza says, who do I think Millwall will sign? We're still going to sign a right back and a goalkeeper. 84 says, come on, you fucking Lions. And they've hidden back your comment for review because you've sworn. Lawrence Downs, think everyone is looking at Bradshaw and praying he can be the goal scorer. Hashtag back to Bradshaw. Yes. I think there is a lot of hope and dreams pinned on Tom Bradshaw, and if he wasn't already feeling the pressure, now he's got extra special pressure. If we'd have kept Lee Gregory this season, I was about to say it would have been fantastic, and it would have been, but still we need someone to play with him. I don't think we've answered the question of a target man. I really don't. I really want Smith to be the answer, but I really don't think he is the answer. AOB and Bavardson are like a clone. They're like lemons. They look the same, they run the same. They're not really either or centre forwards or / you couldn't really put a position on either of them. They both look quite slow, quite deliberate. They just look like clones. Bavardson for me, if you're going to sign Bavardson, get rid of AOB. If you're going to keep AOB, don't buy Bavardson. Matt Smith is a big fucking signing for us because we got Bradshaw, and with a decent centre forward to play with Bradshaw, you could bring the absolute best out of him, and I don't think we're not going to do that. Kiefer Moore again, Jordan L says, Kiefer Moore all day long. So Harris, if you're watching, he doesn't like me, mate, he's not watching. Yeah, Harris, if you're watching, Gaffer, I love you, please don't hate me, but yeah, Kiefer Moore I think would be a better signing than Jamal Lowe. We need a target man. Callum717 says, apparently there's a rumour for Herbie Kane on loan. I don't think that's going to happen now. I think it could have happened. I would have liked it to happen, but I think Jason Mulumboy is Herbie Kane's like for like, if you like. Like for like, if you like. Lucy Sarah, who's your new favourite player? Adults, do adults have favourite players? As a kid, I had favourite players. I like Ben Thompson. I like Lee Gregory, obviously. Thought he was a bit of a salt as well. I'm straight, don't panic. Tomo is up there, great player. I like Jake Cooper, I think he's a great player. And I'd like to say, I see Bradshaw do the business. Conor Mahoney, obviously. I think whether you're an adult or whether you're a kid, I think you don't always appreciate the great players. You like the exciting players. If I had to go to the club shop tomorrow and buy a kit, I'd probably buy the yellow one, and I'd have Bradshaw on the back of it, and then I'd look like a giant, fat, yellow-coloured donut with Mini-Me looking like he's doing a helping the community scheme, walking around me the den. There's a little vision for you. Me in a yellow Millwall shirt with Bradshaw on the back. Small. I'd buy small as well, just to... Do you know what I mean? Just to... Don't know I'm doing that. Right. Owen Morris says, what would your starting 11 be for next Saturday's game against Preston? And I'm going to end it on that. My starting 11 would be, if you didn't see it earlier on in the show, would I play 4-4-2? No, because I don't think it's going to work for us. I'll play 4-5-1. There you go. I've made my mind up. And this shit's on the pre-match prediction a bit, which will go out Thursday, by the way. I would play, if I was Neil Harris and we're starting against Preston tomorrow, this would be my starting 11. Frank Fielding in goal, Marlon Romeo at right back, Murray Wallace at left back, Jake Cooper with Sean Hutchinson skippering the side alongside him. There you go, a little bit controversial. Then I would play 5 in midfield. I'd have 3 in the centre. And those 3 central midfielders would be Ben Thompson, Jed Wallace and Sean Williams. Bit attacking, I know, but I can deal with it because Williams can sit. Then I'd have Conor Mahoney on the left wing, Yuri Skalak on the right wing, and as a lone striker, Tom Bradshaw. That's what I'd go with, if I'm honest. Might not be everyone's cup of tea. Some people can play we should play 4-4-2, and I would play 4-4-2 if we had the players to do it. But unfortunately, we've had a whole summer. We signed 2, and I still don't think we've got the players to do it. Listen, let's hope I'm wrong. Thanks for tuning in, boys and girls. Really appreciate your support as always. Please subscribe to Lions TV. If you've won something on a giveaway, I'm going to do my absolute best to get all that bagged up and sent out Monday. I'm going to sit down tomorrow, dig everything out because I've moved and some stuff's in my loft, which is a complete bollock ache. But Mini-Me could get thrown up there for £1, and then can get the stuff out. He's just stuck finger up at me there. Beautiful for a 12-year-old. And yeah, that's it. I'll be back next week. We're back in business in a big way, aren't we? Pre-match predictions, fan score predictions. It's all good. We're good to go. Have we got the tools to do it? Only time will tell. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you next week. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Come on, you Lions. That's a wrap, bruv.